Hi everyone, in this video we'll walk you through the Pangea console and highlight the main areas that you should be aware of. There are two main organizational constructs in Pangea, an organization and a project. You'll be asked to create both of these when you create your Pangea account. You can think of an organization as your company or the company you work for, and projects as the different applications you build. Organizations dictate from which cloud service provider the Pangea services will be served from. To get to organization settings, click the profile icon and then click the organization settings. From here, you'll be able to see your organization ID, rename your organization, and manage members across all of your projects. Returning back to the dashboard, you'll also want to get familiar with project settings. Under General, you can see your project ID, from which location our services are being served from, and you can rename your project. Under Members, you can add new team members to your project. A project admin has access to configure settings and create tokens, while a project member can only use tokens and view configurations. Finally, the tokens used to access Pangea APIs can be managed across your entire project. Returning back home, let's understand the general layout of the main dashboard. Here you'll be able to see important information like your project, overall usage, how many services you have enabled, how many tokens are being used, and where your project is being served from. Additionally, we'll publish news, our blogs, and links to learning materials so you can stay informed. Next, let's talk about metrics. The metrics screen allows you to see even more detailed usage statistics on a per service and per token basis. This can help you understand which services are being used the most and where errors might be occurring, if any. The activity section will act as your admin console's audit trail. Here you'll be able to see any changes to configurations, tokens created, users invited, and more. You can click into any of these records to see more detailed information as necessary. Finally, let's move on to services. As you can see, the services are broken up into different categories. Currently there are two categories, intelligence and compliance, but we'll add more as more services are brought online. When deciding to use a service for the first time, you'll have a short enablement flow to walk through. Let's enable the Redact service, which can be used to remove sensitive information from text. The first screen in the enablement flow will tell you about what the service offers and then ask you to create a token so you can leverage the service. From here you'll be able to create a new token or extend an existing token. Then you'll be able to select which services the token has access to. Once the token is created, you'll be greeted with the service dashboard. Here you'll be able to see service-specific usage information, the tokens that have access to this service, and information about the specific instance of this service. All services are laid out in a similar manner, bookended by an overview section and a try it now section, which leads to our interactive API reference documentation. Before we try it out, let's configure the Redact service. In between the two bookends will be the configuration options and settings unique to the service. In the case of Redact, we have the ability to configure which Redact rules are turned on and off. Clicking into the rule sets, which organize redaction rules, I can turn the rules individually on and off. Now that I've configured a few, it's time to try it now. Now we're in our interactive API reference documentation. Here you'll see the Redact endpoints and the fields for input for both required and optional fields. Assuming you have a token that has access to the service, which we do, you'll see your token listed in the dropdown. Let's put my sample text in here and see how we can use the API reference documentation to test out the services. Great, my call worked and my API results are visible here. Returning to the console, let's look at one more service, the audit service. You'll see the layout is nearly identical to the Redact service. The audit service demonstrates an important aspect of Pangea services. Some services can be used by others to minimize the need for multiple service calls while satisfying complex use cases. Here you can see that I can enable Redact, which means that anytime I log events to the Redact service, I can also have them redacted automatically without any extra calls. Finally, some services will provide a method for viewing or managing data. In the case of audit, a built-in audit viewer is available for reviewing the messages you've logged to the service. Now that you've had a quick tour of Pangea, we hope you're ready to start developing. If you have any questions, need additional support, or want to share what you've created, we have our community Discord in the top right where our team of builders is available. We can't wait to see what you build next.